Should mountain bikers shave their legs? I know you thought about it, and now we're going to talk about it. Today marks my annual pilgrimage into the land of shaved legs. I do it in the spring and I stop in the fall. Why do I do it? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's talk about why a road rider would shave their legs, because we all know serious road cyclists shave their legs. Let's talk about why they do it and if that applies to mountain biking. First of all, shaving your legs provides an aerodynamic advantage. That kind of applies to road riders, but only if you're time trialing at 28 miles an hour and need to save a couple seconds. For most road riders, that's not really going to apply, and it definitely doesn't apply to mountain bikers. Another reason road cyclists shave their legs is in the event of a crash and getting road rash. Now, this is actually a very valid reason for shaving your legs as a road cyclist, and the reason I don't look down on any road cyclists who shave their legs, whether they're amateur or professional. Road crashes suck. They absolutely suck. If your legs are shaved and you crash, it reduces the chance of getting an infection because you don't trap dirt around the wound as easily as you would with hair on your legs. Also, if you have to put bandages on your legs, which you typically do in the event of a road crash, pulling those bandages off doesn't rip chunks of hair off your skin. Also, there are times after a crash where you do have to scrape out the wound and scrape the road debris and grime out of the wound, and it's much less painful without hair on your legs. Now, does this reason apply for mountain bikers? Probably not. You don't get near as torn up on a mountain bike crash as you do on a road crash. Another reason for having shaved legs as a road cyclist is if you get massages. It is easier on the massage therapist and it's much less painful on you. Typically, a therapeutic massage is not a gentle, relaxing massage. You're pushing lactic acid out of your muscles, and it can be painful, and having shaved legs does help the process. Now, does it apply to most road cyclists? Probably not. There are some who get massages, and if you do, shave your legs. Mountain bikers, if you're a serious cross-country racer, you may get massages, and having shaved legs will help in that process. So those really are the top 3 reasons why any cyclist would want to shave their legs. There are a couple more that are not a real physical benefit, but more of a psychological benefit. One is it helps you kind of fit into the culture. I remember when I first shaved my legs in college when I used to road race, and I just felt like I belonged. And also, your legs do look better in a road kit and in spandex if your legs are shaved, especially if you look at someone who has really hairy legs in a peloton with a bunch of people with shaved legs. It does look like you fit in better. Also, there's a more humorous reason why some people shave their legs that I've heard mentioned, and that is just the intimidation factor. So if you show up on a start line with hairy legs, people probably aren't going to take you as seriously as if you showed up with shaved legs. So that's another reason. That kind of goes along with fitting into the cycling culture. So I have moved on from road cycling, and I am mainly a cyclocross and gravel rider, and of course a mountain biker. Why do I shave my legs? Well, my reason is a lot different than the other reasons that I listed. During the summer, I used to get ticks and chigger bites on my legs quite a bit. I've had a lot of ticks that I removed from my legs, and I have lived in chigger hell after getting mauled by chiggers. And if you don't know what chiggers are, they're also referred to as red bugs, and it is a very intense itch that lasts for about 7 days. And the only thing that I've found to relieve it is putting heat, and it will relieve it for a few hours. Whenever I would get chigger bites, I would wake up in the middle of the night and put a hair dryer on my legs or whatever part of the body was bitten by the chiggers, just so I could sleep for another few hours. It's miserable. And what I noticed was when I rode with buddies who had shaved legs, they would hardly ever get ticks on their body or get chigger bites. Now, if you're riding by something that has a tick on it or chiggers and your legs scrape against it, I guess you can pick up those insects a lot easier. And so by shaving my legs, I have reduced the number of chigger bites and ticks. And ticks can be pretty serious. I mean, chigger bites are just miserable and then they go away. But I've talked to people who have had Lyme disease, and I never want to have Lyme disease. It can be serious. It can affect your mental clarity, your memory, things like that. So it's not something you want to play around with. And again, I've had a lot less ticks on my legs after I started shaving my legs. I also live in an area that's pretty hot and humid, so I get pretty sweaty in the summertime when I ride. And I get a little bit less dirty, and it's easier to clean up with shaved legs, but I wouldn't shave my legs just for that reason. I absolutely can't stand shaving my legs. It is a pain. I only do it about once a week after my initial shave, but it takes about 10 minutes out of my day, and I just don't like doing it. But when I would get chiggers and ticks, there was one summer where I literally stopped riding for a month just because I didn't want to go through that again. So going through the pain and the hassle of shaving my legs is better than not riding. So if you're predominantly a mountain biker and you don't live in an area where you can pick up ticks and chiggers on your legs, you probably don't need to shave your legs. Like I said, it is a hassle, it's a pain to do, and you probably don't want to go through that if you don't have to. Now, if anything in this video that I've said does convince you to shave your legs, let me give you a couple tips. If you first shave your legs, use something like a hair trimmer or clipper to get the hair off your legs first before you use a blade, because it will take forever with a blade to first shave your legs. Also, I do join Dollar Shave Club. Those razors are not high quality, and you got to be careful because they're really sharp and they can cut your legs, but if you're careful with it, it's a great deal because you'll go through a lot of razor blades when you shave your legs. So there's our somewhat humorous discussion on why cyclists and particularly mountain bikers may want to shave their legs. At least I think it's humorous. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. If it was helpful for you, give it a thumbs up. Now it's time to go break out the razor. I'd rather be riding